problems that we have now will not be solved with the same line of thinking that caused those problems, okay? Hey there, welcome to another episode of Self-Employed Success Secrets, Wednesday edition with me, your host, Marcus. We're just gonna get right to it today. The purpose of today, why your problems persist, okay? If you have the same problems that you had last year, this video is for you. So stay tuned. Also stay tuned for a surprise at the end of the video to help you, just help your life in some way, shape, or form, okay? So last year, big problem of mine, being self-employed, I was worried about getting clients. Okay, let's fast forward 365 days. I'm not so much worried about getting clients anymore. And that's how we should be every year, every month, I think. You should be changing. And your problems should be changing. And let me say this too before I really get into the meat of the video, is that problems are normal, okay? Remember that. Problems are always gonna happen. So don't freak out, okay? A lot of us freak out. You were hired to solve a problem at your job, whether you're self-employed or you have a regular corporate job. Most of y'all watching have a regular corporate job and you're working towards being self-employed, but it'll help you. Problems are normal, so just rest, okay? But if we're gonna solve the problems, like I said, I had different problems last year than I did this year, and that as we get bigger and better, you know, we've got to understand that our ideas have to be bigger. Our ideas, little technical difficulties, but the point is that our ideas have to be bigger than our problems, okay? And this is how Albert Einstein said. He said it very well. He said that our problems cannot be solved at the level of consciousness at which they were created. That means that the problems that we have now will not be solved with the same line of thinking that caused those problems. Think about that today on this Wednesday, okay? Continuation episode. At work, you're thinking about problems, you're thinking about things that are not working. The mindset that formed those problems will not solve them, okay? For example, let's use a self-employment example. Let's say you're a florist, okay? It's springtime, there's flowers everywhere. And let's say last year, 2021, you had a problem of you would send the wrong flowers to the wrong person. That happens a lot when you got a lot of orders. It happens a lot with like fast food or even like rental car services, anything where like you have to disperse like groceries, online stuff, anything, even at banks, you gotta watch their bank account sometimes because sometimes they'll put someone else's money and they've messed my account up before. That's another thing you wanna watch out for. But think about a florist, okay? This year they're like, okay, or last year they're like, okay, we had so many problems with orders. This year, like, you know what? I'm gonna, instead of checking orders once or twice, I'm gonna check it 6, 7 times. So that way, being more meticulous, more assiduous of what you're doing, you check in and you're just like, hey, you know, now that the year has progressed, we understand that in order to make orders go to the right person, we gotta check 6 or 7 times, and that's fine. You change as a person, okay? So in order, you know, the normal thing when we have problems is to just look at it and be okay, I'm just gonna will my way out of this problem. But sometimes you gotta look at it, you gotta change your perspective, you gotta change your outlook and your the viewpoint you come from, and that'll in turn change yourself so that you can solve this problem, okay? And as they say, your last mistake is your best teacher, okay? Think about your last mistake, whether it was at work or something that happened, your last mistake is your best teacher, okay? If you watch this video, it can really help you to solve your problems in your life. Your problems only get bigger. They say you can determine the size of a man by how big his problems are, okay? If you got little problems, you know, let's go to the next stage and graduate. Life's about, you know, graduation is about accretion, okay? Going up with what you have using the existing resources that you have, okay? And let's parlay to another example. Let's say you hate your job. Let's say you're a welder. Let's say you're a fisherman. Let's say you are a botanist. You know, there's over 200,000 professions. Let's say you hate your job, okay? Remember, our problems cannot be solved at the level of consciousness at which they were created. So that same thinking that was like, I just kind of drifted into this job. Remember, you drift towards the rocks. You have to row towards success. We're thinking about a ocean analogy. As I said before, self-employment is like jumping into the ocean, okay? By drifting, you end up by the rocks. A lot of times, people who don't like their jobs, they drifted into it. Their friend, a random friend was like, hey, want to work? And they did that. That same line of thinking is not going to work if you want to find a job you want. A good way to solve this problem, another consciousness would be like, hey, I have a lot of time. Being conscious means you're awake. When you get up in the morning from your bed, you're conscious that you're not sleeping anymore, okay? So if you change your way of thinking, you start thinking at a higher level, your problems will change, okay? You'd be like, hey, my job. Okay. You can say to yourself, okay, I work 9 to 5. Okay. I work 9 to 5. I sleep 8 hours. I work 8 hours. I got 8 hours after we're really like 6 after, or 5 or 6 after doing all the stuff you gotta do. I got 5 hours every day where I can just think about what I want. You go to the library, you can do informational interviews and figure out a job you want. There are over 200,000 professions. You can find a job that you like. Okay, so I really want you to just consider this today. Okay, the main points being that problems are normal. Okay, accept the fact that your problems, you're going to graduate into bigger problems as life goes on. Okay, and next, understanding that the problems, the consciousness at which your problems were created will not solve. Your problems cannot be solved to the consciousness at which they were created. These are the words of Albert Einstein. Okay, the way of thinking that created your present problems. Think about your present problems right now. As you're at work, you're being taught to solve problems, time problems, people problems. Okay, reliability problems. You go to other people to solve your problem. People come to you to solve your problem. It's this big cycle of solving people's problems, attenuating. Okay, and then knowing that your last mistake is your best teacher. All right, don't get down because problems gonna happen, mistakes gonna happen. Okay, the most important thing is learning from it. Okay, so that's why your problems persist, because we're staying in the same line of thinking. You don't want to be in the same line of thinking. You know, you're in the same line of thinking. If you're having the same conversations you were having last year, you have the same problems as last. Like I said, last year I was worried about I want more clients. Now I'm at a point where I don't need to get more clients. All I have to do is do good with the few that I have, and then I'll expand. That's been working, and having a high penetration rate with that. But if you made it this far, I appreciate you. I want to read this surprise today. Surprise. Today's surprise is strive to be first if you want to last. Strive to be first if you want to last on this sunny day. Okay. And remember, lastly, as always, unsuccessful people make decisions based on their current situation, but successful people, you hopefully make decisions based on where you want to be. Okay. I want to empower you today to know that you can solve your problems, the current problems that you have right now. Big one being you don't like your job. You want to become self-employed. 70% of the workforce wants to be self-employed. I'm 100% self-employed, and I did it by thinking at a higher level. You got to see the abundance around. That's how you can become successfully self-employed. See the abundance around you. Okay? There is plenty around. There are plenty of contacts. There is plenty of money. There is plenty of just opportunities for you if you're willing to seize it. Okay? I want to explain to you the fact that you overcome your current problems by elevating your line of thinking. Okay, I want to educate you on just seeing on what higher level thinking is. You got to be awake. Okay, you got to get better at that. But we all have things we have to get better at. But I appreciate you, and stay tuned for the next video. Okay, bye.